the long-term solution is what Father Brendan was talking about. What do we do in the long run? And that is the book Method in Theology. And I will say a little bit about that. I'm supposed to be talking about implementation. And everything is in the book, so I really don't have to say anything. The capacity here we're talking about is each of us. The problem raised by Father Brendan is the problem of the surrounding institutions. And what can we do? The short-term solution is you do what you can in your own life to do less harm and stay more alive. That does not seem a huge achievement. But the effort asked of you by Lonergan is a very new caring for yourself, embracing yourself. I am a precious quest. And for the Christian community, that is the strange and mysterious fact that you have the undivided attention of both the Trinity and Jesus, the incarnate Word. And this is taken for granted by Christian communities. When you go to chapel to pray, you do not nudge the sister beside you to shut up, I want to talk to him now. There's the mystery of an understanding that reaches each of us. What is that understanding? That's the question that Lonergan is asking us to ask ourselves. What is it to be understanding? And that's a very personal question. I think some of you may be joining us on the 29th when we talk of prayer. But that is the centerpiece of a renewal of prayer, contemplation. To ask what? To want to understand. In many of our hymns, I go to my wife's Protestant church regularly, and we have hundreds of hymns. You know what I'm talking about, the various hymns in the church? Yes? And I'm thinking of the Protestant tradition, but you have your Catholic hymns. I'm amused at the problem of hymns. In Ireland, when I grew up, we had only about 6 traditional hymns that we sang all the time. I'm sure that's not the way it is in Korea. You have many hymns in church, yes? In the Protestant tradition, they have thousands of hymns. But the point I wish to make is one I can associate with a great Catholic cardinal, John Henry Newman, who lived in the 19th century. And he wrote a relatively famous hymn. It's an interesting story. He wrote it on the Mediterranean on a lovely summer's day. June 16, 1833. And it's a very gloomy hymn. And the first three words are, lead kindly light. Lead kindly light amidst the encircling gloom. Lead thou me on, etc. The approach that Lonergan is inviting now is one that asks you to stop asking God for light and use the light that God gave you. Does this make sense? Yes, you go to God. God is with you in your problems. But you have to do some thinking. What is it to understand? Exercise the light. I can go back to Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 33 and 34. I have given you a law in your hearts. And that law is that quest that we talked about all day. That somehow is being beaten down by our establishments in economics, government, politics, and even in the church. So, yes, lead kindly light, but it's the light that you get by exercising this. Now, I want to illustrate the exercise very simply. And I hope I will attract you. I hope I will raise your question. There are those of you who are sleeping quietly. That also is grand. Angels look after you, as Father Brendan says. But for those of you who are awake, I am going on to do something. Now, I'm going to relate it to this big question shortly. But it's a simple problem. And curiously enough, it reminds me of the sick man Naaman, who traveled to Israel, and he met the prophet, and he felt he will have a cure for me. And he said, well, go and paddle in the Jordan. And the man said, but I have great rivers at home. No. Paddle in the Jordan. Let us paddle in your local river. Are you with me now? Have I got you curious? Perhaps? No? Yes?